Good morning and welcome to Cuyahoga County's Community Development Committee meeting. It is Monday, July 11th, and we are going to start our meeting a few minutes after 10. Madam Clerk, if you would call the roll, please.
As a reminder to all in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county YouTube page. Calling the roll, Ms. Stevens.
Present.
Mr. Jones.
Here.
Ms. Simon. Ms. Simon is absent at the moment. Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Ms. Baker.
Here.
There's a quorum.
Thank you. Is there any public comment today?
Yes, Madam Chair, we have one person signed in, Lou.
Good morning, everybody. I'm here. First, I would like to apologize for a miscommunication last time I made the comments. But I would still say, basically, I don't really like this whole process about ARPA funds because most of the funds, not only we had to put them to compensate the revenue loss during the COVID-19 for the government operation itself, the remaining funds we have, mostly the administrative side of the government, actually, I would consider that as a black box operation. Lots of things listed to be helped, but we still don't know how they will be actually going. And unfortunately, I have found out lots of things definitely go through the usual suspects. So the same mistake can happen over and over again, which is not really the purpose of ARPA funds. On the other hand, the little remaining funds, each council member here can actually help the community. I found out it has been working way better. Yes, we did also have another miscommunication. People thought a particular project was only to favor rich people, but then we realized it was the name, the project misleading. If we name that as Tri-City Community Center, then people will understand that particular project actually will help the people in 3 different cities to increase their quality of life, to have more ways of going on about their daily life instead of being isolated because of COVID-19. They can resume lots of the, the fun functions our society actually should have. Now, in this case, I have to still say I don't like this process because I wish most of the funding actually got allocated to council members because throughout these presentations I have attending, I found out our council members actually work harder to communicate with all different cities to ensure lots of the project will actually help the people. It just unfortunately, the whole state, the whole county, lots of our cities, we are still very segregated. People in this community don't know what happened to other communities. So everybody think that they get a worst, and they do not know other people are on the same boat. So I wish this kind of activity we can have more and more, so people can start knowing one another. That will actually help all of us to thrive together. Unfortunately, Mr. Tuma suggested me to complain about this to our county executive, but when the meeting is in the nitty-gritty to have all the real discussion, he's not here. Thank you.
That's the only public comment we had, Madam Clerk?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Let us proceed to matters referred to committee.
Resolution 2022-0218, making awards on requisition number 7775 to various nonprofit organizations in the total amount not to exceed $3 million to provide various emergency rental assistance services to income-eligible tenants in connection with the Emergency Rental Assistance 2 program for the period June 1st, 2022 to March 31st, 2025.
Good morning. Sarah Parks Jackson with the Department of Development. We are asking for approval of 5 contracts that are being made in accordance with an RFP that was issued for Emergency Rental Assistance 2 funding. We received $26,991,928 in ERA 2 funds, which expires 9/30/2025. Those funds, being different from ERA 1, allow us to do significant housing instability assistance. So through the RFP that we issued, we are asking that we approve a contract with ESOP, which is Empowering and Strengthening Ohio's People. ESOP is now a subsidiary of Benjamin Rose and has a very strong connection to the senior population in Cuyahoga County. Famicos Foundation, to do planning, budgeting, and financial assistance. Their eviction prevention program is outstanding, and John Analifo is here if we need him to speak to that program.
So, what order would you like to take these folks to give us a very brief presentation on why they need our partnership? I think I know most of the representatives personally now, but if you could, let's see the folks from ESOP first.
I don't know if Antoinette. No, Antoinette is not here.
And that means you bring John to the
John,
podium?
you want John to come up now?
Yes, please.
Okay. Mr. Anlifa?
For $300,000, Mr. Analifo, I think you could say good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, and good morning, councilors. I come here with my colleague, Candice Wood, who is the manager of Homeownership Center, to be able to explain to you what we're trying to do with this money. Famicos Foundation, as you all know, or may know, is one of the oldest cities here in the city of Cleveland. We have more than 50 years of experience providing support and services to individuals in Cuyahoga County that are struggling. We are receiving money from the city of Cleveland, the state of Ohio, U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, Neighbor Works America. So we have a lot of experience in doing what this money will be used for. And my colleague here, Candice, will explain the mechanics of how we are going to apply this money to help Cuyahoga County residents that are struggling. Candice?
Good morning. Wonderful to be here. I'm Candace Wood. I'm the manager of the Homeownership Resource Center at Famicos Foundation. So just to kind of give you a brief overview of how we plan to deploy the funds and assist, our residents in need in Cuyahoga County. We currently were awarded a contract with NeighborWorks America where we're providing housing stability counseling services. And so we're going to, follow that model that we already have had in place, whereby we are, doing an intake and triage process with residents. They would do an online application. They have that option. We also have a kiosk that they can come into our office and they can do their application that way. We also can accept paper applications that we will process and do the intake process with those residents. We're focusing on our highest priority individuals, of course, the ones who have been most adversely affected by the coronavirus pandemic will be our residents in and around the county who are at or below the 50% area median income level. Individuals who are at least who will be, identified as having been unemployed for 90 days or more. Also residents who are, facing some kind of financial instability whereby if they were to pay their basic household expenses, would it prevent them from being able to acquire, food services that month? So again, we have some leeway in identifying those that we feel that are in a crisis situation, but those are the ones that we're, most adamantly trying to reach and give assistance to. So we have HUD certified counselors in our office. We actually have 3, including myself, and then we have that are full-time, and then we have a part-time individual as well who has HUD certification. So we're doing budget counseling is our primary tool of assessment for those individuals. Looking at what are their basic, needs, what are their wants, what are their haves, what things may we be able to reduce in their budget in order to create, some income and cash flow in their, monthly budget, as well as referring them to various social services to provide wraparound services in and around the county as well. So we're looking to continue those good partnerships that we have with other organizations and making those referrals, as well as preparing individuals for rental assistance if they need that service as well. Currently, we do not have direct funds to be able to pay someone's rent, but we do have those partnerships that we're putting in place with, and I heard the term used earlier, the usual suspects, right? So, one of our larger providers in the county would be CHN Housing Partners. So we're in the process right now of putting together an agreement so that, we would essentially function as somewhat of, an intake for their program as well to take some of the, the weight off of them with processing those applications, and we can get them, good, complete applications so that the residents will have the benefit of moving through their process a little bit quicker as well, with less, delays and hiccups.
Okay, a couple questions for you. How do people go to your program?
So individuals can access us through the internet, as I said, with the online application. Once they make application, it hits our system and we're notified immediately. We also have a system in place whereby they are identified based upon the way that they answer the questions. They're identified as crisis. And so those individuals, we reach out to, a bit faster and get them in for services a bit quicker.
Are you using social media to try and talk to
Yes,
folks?
we are. And it was quite refreshing to see. I did a search last week for rental assistance, and we came up as the top search, as the top choice, which was amazing. So, so our social media campaign is also bringing in a lot of traffic and doing well. And also other partner organizations, with getting the word out to them and having them,
If they're watching
refer.
today, are they looking for famicos.org?
Yes, they can go to the famicos.org website, or they can go to helpwithhousing.info. And we have a choice there for emergency assistance.
Do you do foreclosure prevention as well?
We do, yes. So we have, even though that services wouldn't be covered under the county ERA 2 opportunity, we do offer those services for homeowners as well, homeowners and tenants.
Do any of my colleagues have questions? Ms. Baker?
Thank you, and thank you for bringing this program to us. Just a couple questions to understand it. The rental assistance 2, rental assistance 1, has that been exhausted?
Are there any more questions?
Just to clarify, so there is no rental financing going to the landlord or to the tenant?
Not from them.
Not directly through the funds that we've been provided. Our funds are primarily focused on counseling. So kind of getting back to the basics of, counseling the way we used to do it before there were any kind of financial assistance available. Just really looking at those individual household budgets and trying to, just dig deeper in those and, creating some space and some relief there. And, speaking with landlords, to let them know that, the individuals are in counseling with HUD certified counselors, and they are trying to, find a solution.
And I know this is maybe rental assistance 1, but is this a continuation of what you've already been doing? This isn't a new program?
No, it's not new. It's a continuation. Things have morphed and changed, as we all know, since we've been in this space, right? So, yeah, so it's just a kind of a change in the programming, but not new.
Well, may I ask, will the $3 million make a significant difference for what it is that you're working with now versus?
Actually, it's 300,000.
Yes.
Well, okay. Well, the total is 3 million,
It's divided by 5.
right? So are you involved in all 5?
No, so we have one portion of the 3 million, and
Sorry.
our total award of the 3-year period is for 300,000.
Okay, I didn't understand that. So is the 300,000 then, is that a significant increase over what you've been working with?
It is what we have been awarded, and we're grateful.
All right, that's all I had for,
Sarah, there was one question she had that you could answer.
so Phase 1, rental assistance, how is that ending and this one is picking up where that left off?
ERA 1 was expended or allocated. Legal Aid, who is also getting a portion of these funds, is still working through their portion of the ERA 1 dollars, but for the most part, we have zeroed out ERA 1 that was allocated to Cuyahoga County. We have a ERA 1 allocation that was state reallocated funds, and that was $51,233,000, and we are still trying to work that down in these agencies with the specialties that they provide with the housing instability programs that they have, and they will work in concert with CHN Housing Partners, who is our organization to provide the actual payment. We are hoping that these housing instability programs will garner us more people, maybe the people we can't find by our regular social media or regular marketing campaigns, that we can reach out to those seniors and those special population folks and get them some assistance.
So this is in cooperation with the 51 million recently received, if I remember right.
The 51 million is ERA 1. These funds for the housing instability programs are coming from ERA 2, but the rental assistance that people receive when these agencies send them to CHN will determine which pot that they are eligible to come from, which is either ERA 1 rental assistance from the state reallocation or the remainder of our ERA 2 rental assistance
Okay.
allocation.
All right, well, that makes sense. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Lot.
All right, let's move on to the next group. Do you have someone representing Front Steps Housing and Services?
However, Colleen Cotter is here from Legal Aid.
Let's go to Ms. Cotter, please. And I see Ms. Sarkisian too.
Yes, thank you. I'm Colleen Cotter. I'm the Executive Director of the Legal Aid Society of Cleveland, and I'm joined by my colleague Melanie Shakarian, who's our Director of Development and Communications. And I particularly wanted her to join me because she runs our communications, and the question earlier about reaching tenants, I think, is incredibly important. So I'd like her to address that. So as you know, the Legal Aid Society of Cleveland is a nonprofit law firm providing civil legal assistance to people with low income in a 5-county area, including Cuyahoga County. We have long served issues regarding shelter, safety, health, and economic security. At the beginning of the pandemic, we particularly doubled down on our efforts to ensure that people are housed. We've all seen, because of the pandemic, it came to light the reality that housing is critically important for the success of families, neighborhoods, and communities, especially during a public health crisis. But even after the public health crisis is no longer with us, that is a reality. So we have, with the support of the county, including ERA 1 dollars, increased our capacity to represent tenants by many times. Nationally, fewer than 10% of tenants are represented when they are facing eviction. Locally, it has been more like 1 to 2%. 1 to 2% of people who are faced with the prospect of being evicted from their home go through that process without a lawyer. And we, with the partnership of the county, are determined to change that. So we have, for the past 2 years, 2+ years, been working with all of the municipal courts in Cuyahoga County to get the word out to tenants that you, in fact, have rights and you have a voice, and we want you to use it in this process. And because of especially because of the county's support of the rental assistance program, we partner closely with CHN Housing Partners so that the tenants during our representation are accessing those funds, and we are able to resolve the eviction process in the favor of the tenant. We know from our, as you all know, the City of Cleveland has a right to counsel in evictions now for about 1/3 of tenants who go through the process. In that, in our implementation of the right to counsel program in Cleveland, we know that we have prevented eviction in 93% of cases last year. So our representation is very effective in keeping people housed in partnership with all of the other folks who are here today and CHN. So it is an infrastructure that the county is building here with great partnerships. All of those pieces are important to make sure that people stay in their homes. So I want to ask Melanie to address the how we're reaching tenants.
Thank you again for the support of this important program and considering it. We touch our client community in all the districts of Cuyahoga County, and we have a special relationship with all the municipal court judges in terms of doing outreach to folks who are getting an eviction notice, but then looking strategically based on data of numbers of people who have low income in that community and examining that compared to intakes that we're seeing at legal aid, and making sure then that we're working with the local community-based newspapers to get the word out. We're doing meetings at ward clubs and at other community partners to educate folks about their rights. And I think one of the most interesting referral sources that we've seen of late, and I'll share it through a quick anecdote, our landlords are now encouraging tenants to come to us. We had one landlord who was opposed to us in a case where we were representing their tenant. And we were, at first, it was a very adversarial process. The landlord was upset that there was representation on the other side. But through the course of representation, we were able to secure rent assistance. And that landlord was able to mend some interpersonal relationships with the tenant along the way. So we could then end that representation with the tenant staying secure in a new lease with the rent assistance for paying some back and forward rent. And the landlord came back to us and said, I was able to pay my property taxes because of this. And that is the true impact of this work. So we have also seen some referrals from our communications within the landlord community of people then getting to legal aid for help. But we couldn't do it without this support via the ERA 2 funds. So thank you.
One last item. We saw throughout all of our municipal courts fewer eviction filings during the pandemic. Those are starting now to increase. Before the pandemic, there were 18,000 or so evictions filed in Cuyahoga County every year. We have this year so far seen a 20% increase in our intake of tenants coming to us. So we expect that sort of increase every month as more landlords file and as more folks need our assistance. So we greatly appreciate the support from the county, and we ask for the county council approval of it.
Madam Chair. Madam Chair.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sunny.
I
did
have
you
a question, thank you, about this assistance. It appears to me that once the dollars are going to dry up for the assistance to the tenants through CHN, then we're kind of back to square one. This is a short-term fix to enable the tenants to stay with the support. What's the plan after? I mean, that's what we're doing, is just steadying the ship temporarily until that money's gone, and then we're sort of back at the same place. Are you going to have funding to represent tenants after this, and without the support of the funds to keep them there, how is that going to effectuate any long-term change?
Yeah, so I think that is the million or 10 million or $100 million question. That is absolutely the case. We are determined to do a couple of things. One is we have an evaluator to evaluate what is the actual impact of preventing evictions for the community at large. And so we will be sharing that with County Council as we move forward. So far, we're seeing the preliminary data that preventing evictions saves incredible amounts of money in other areas. So when we have more understanding of that, I think looking at what should be spent on this long term from a combination of philanthropic, government support, and that is both for representation of tenants and also for rental assistance. We have long believed that our representation of tenants is enhanced greatly by having rental assistance. And I firmly believe that our community needs to invest in this long term and at some scale in order to create stronger communities. And it saves money in the end because of sustained employment, because of sustained engagement in education, and that the payoff down the road is incredible.
Madam Chair? Thank you. I understand. Yeah, so we'll wait for that data. I just want to say publicly, I'm sorry for the loss of my colleague, Susan Stauffer, who I just want to let you know that was really, really difficult. And I appreciate, everything she did with legal aid. And I just wanted to say that publicly.
Thank you. Susan was a special, special person and was with us, as you know, for over 50 years, practicing law for over 50 years, serving the community, and she is greatly missed.
She's missed by all of us at the bar.
Does anyone else have a question for these folks? Go ahead.
Thank you. Just going back a little bit, I think the work that you're doing is admirable, and there are people out there that need this, and I'm glad that you're there. A little concerned, can you go a little bit more with the landlords? Because they too are there. If they don't receive rent, then they go under, and then there's nothing there to be rented. So what are they made whole in this process?
So I can't really speak to the details of the rental assistance in terms of whether they are made whole. I can speak about from our perspective. One, we don't raise claims or defenses that are not appropriate. We raise real claims and defenses, and we facilitate the process of getting rental assistance. Often when clients come to us, either they have not yet applied or they ran into some roadblocks, and CHN has enabled us to directly upload documents to their system so that when we get it from our client, we're able to upload it, making the whole system more efficient and getting that access. So our representation actually has enabled landlords to access that rental assistance in situations where they otherwise were not. And there are some landlords who violating the law and mistreating tenants and discriminating against tenants and providing rental units that are not appropriate for people to live in. And we want to see those types of units out of the market. And one of our theories of change is that by representing tenants, we will improve the standard of living where folks live and the health of those units by raising those claims. And in fact, we have seen that over half of our clients have conditions issues that they are able to raise in the context of the eviction because of our representation. So it's a both and. Yes, landlords are getting paid, and some landlords are being forced to do what they need to do, which is provide heat and provide, working water for tenants, and that often they do not.
Thank you. And if I may just follow up. So are, those tenants that aren't providing heat and talk about lead paint and all of those, aren't there organizations that, like the City of Cleveland, that would step in with inspections, that they were brought aware, they would come in and find violations and they would demand that would be done? Is that where you go?
So sometimes it is, and we have relationships with various municipalities so that we can get an inspection done more quickly. Those cities also have limited resources. Sometimes the most appropriate way to raise those issues is in the context of an eviction. So we do both. We leverage the cities where we're able to do that, and we're able to raise those defenses and counterclaims for the tenant in that eviction process.
Okay, that's good. Just one more question. With the counseling and the services that you offer, do you find that, especially after the pandemic, that there are families that get off the rental assistance, that they no longer are in need because the quality of life through your counseling and assistance? And do you ever see that, or is this a permanent place where they will always need this type of assistance?
We often see situations where clients, after the fact, come back to us and say, I was able to get that job. I was able, that often our representation is a bridge for somebody who really is living paycheck to paycheck. And then without that paycheck, even for a month, the spiral downward. So it's a bridge often. So I don't have the data on it, how many clients, but we don't see a lot of repeat clients. The vast majority of our clients are new clients to us. It's not like that's the same family coming 6 months later.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Chair.
Excuse me, Madam Chair, your microphone.
Madam Clerk, if at this time you would recognize that my colleague Meredith Turner has joined us this morning.
Thank you.
Ladies, if there are no other comments, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Ms. Parks-Jackson.
Lastly, I'd like to ask Danielle Cosgrove from the Mediation Center to come forward.
Okay.
Good morning. I am Danielle Cosgrove. I'm the director of Cleveland Mediation Center, and we're a program of Frontline Service. We merged with Frontline in 2017, and we operated our own program for many years, from 1981 through that time. And we have provided mediation for many different issues throughout the county from that time, and particularly with landlords and tenants, so that tenants could stay in their housing and avoid becoming evicted. And that is what this program is. That's the aim of this program. And Colleen had mentioned that this the program that they operate is part of a partnership, and we're part of that partnership as well. So we can provide mediation before the eviction is filed with the court, and we can mediate with a landlord and tenant, help them come up with a payment plan to address the back rent, talk about other issues that may have arisen about communication, if there are repairs that need to be made to the home, and then document that so they can avoid going to court, and then that avoids that eviction going on the tenant's record. We also, with this program, we can provide mediation post filing as well. And we are part of the program is we would build relationships with the municipal courts in the county so we can get those referrals as well. So it can happen before the filing or after the filing. We also work with CHN Housing Partners in two ways. We refer tenants to CHN Housing Partners for rental assistance, and then they also refer tenants to us as well that maybe there's an issue with the landlord accepting the amount of rent and they need to mediate that so that they can come to an agreement and the tenant can stay in the housing.
One of the elements that you serve is are homeless folks.
That is,
Tell us how you interact with them, because we've seen a growing need for services to them due to COVID implications.
yes. So this isn't covered through this grant, but we work in partnership with the Coordinated Intake System that Frontline, which our parent organization, operates. And we provide shelter diversion services. So families that that come to Coordinated Intake, we connect them. We talk to them about where else they could stay that isn't going to shelter. We connect them with family members. Sometimes, like the kind of the quintessential case that we see is a mom and her kids are living with her mom. They get in an argument. Like summer is the worst time because the kids are at home from school. It puts additional pressure on the household, and they get an argument, and the mom kicks her daughter and their kids out. So we can call up the mom, have a mediation to talk about that. We have access to grocery gift cards and things like that, and that can help stabilize the household so they can return and not go to shelter, because any person going to shelter is not the outcome we want, particularly children going to shelter as well. We also have a new program we funded through United Way for people in the LGBTQI+ community that we're doing the similar work as well.
Have we seen an increase in our homeless population in Cuyahoga County due to COVID?
I believe that is true, and I think right now it's summer again, and I think there's been an increased demand on the coordinated entry.
But Ms. Parks Jackson, do we have numbers to go with that? Okay, thank you. Do my colleagues have any questions? Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
You want to wrap this up for me, please?
So hopefully by the presentations you've heard today, you see that we took a holistic approach in housing instability, attempting to award contracts to various organizations to cover the multitude of residents in Cuyahoga County and the services that they need. We therefore are asking for your approval of these 5 contracts.
And am I understanding this correctly? You needed this expedited because the work has already begun?
Yes, we would like to have a approval under second read so that we can process reimbursements for these folks who have begun doing some of this work already.
All right, thank you. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion that we move this to the full council under second reading suspension.
Second.
Thank you. That was Ms. Simon. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, this moves forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, can you move us to the next item on our agenda, please?
Resolution 2022-0162, awarding a total sum not to exceed $130,000 to the City of Highland Heights for the purpose of restoring and regrading 6 city-owned baseball fields from the District 11 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Mayor.
This morning, we have a request from the City of Highland Heights. Who's here representing them? If you would please identify yourself with your name, your title, and we know what city you're from.
Good morning.
Good
Chuck Brunello Jr., Mayor, City of Highland Heights. I have along with me as well our Fire Chief William Turner and our Finance Director Joe Filippo. Appreciate the opportunity to be here this morning. So item number one, yes, so we are seeking, we have 5 projects that we are seeking funding for. The first project that we're looking for is $130,000 for our baseball field renovation project. Our current fields, fields 2 through 7, have not been renovated in 25-plus years. Last year, we did a renovation project on our first Big Diamond, and it was very successful. We invested about roughly $80,000 into that project. It's now, in turn, the other fields need some work as well, and when it rains, it's a big concern, a big problem. The fences are all original. We think it'll be a nice enhancement to our city park to get those done. Additionally, within our school district, we're the only municipality that has Little League Baseball as well, so.
So, you don't need to bring a staff person up for this one. So, Madam Clerk, could we vote on all of these together, or are they too different?
I can read them into the record, and you can vote on all at the same time.
162, 163, 164, 165, and 166 that all belong to the mayor. Is that correct?
That's correct. There's 5, and I guess we could read all 5 into the record or each one individually to our law department.
This is Jared Zabrotowski from the Law Department. I think we can read all 5 of them together. However, I would like to see an individual vote on each one.
Oh, well, then we might as well read them individually. Okay. Are there any questions from my colleagues on restoring and regrading the city-owned baseball fields?
No questions, just want to say, representing Highland Heights, I see how valuable these fields are to the community and to the families to be able to have their summer softball leagues and everything, to go someplace that's actually feasible for them to do that is really important. So that's my comment.
Absolutely.
Should I make a motion?
You most certainly can make a motion, but I wanted to say, as one of those kids who loved Little League when she was little, I can't imagine American summer without some Little League. So thank you, Mayor, for trying to preserve this in your community. Ms. Simon.
I'm going to make a motion that this resolution move forward to the next council meeting with a recommendation of passage, and we're not suspending, so.
So, on a second from you? So for all ARPA funds, we're going through all 3 readings. Okay. Any other, if there are no further comments, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Congratulations, Mayor. We're moving on to the next item on our
Thank you.
agenda.
Resolution 2022-0163, awarding a total sum not to exceed $20,000 to the City of Highland Heights for the purpose of updating and expanding the City Community Center from the District 11 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Same idea with our community center. It's open year-round. We have, it's booked every day of the week for the most part. We wanted to enhance the outdoor seating area throughout the pandemic. Everybody wanted to be, have their space and whatnot. So we wanted to expand the rear patio to at least offer a nicer spot to our guests at their visit at the community center. The community center has not been painted in over 10 plus years or so. So it's time for some updates to the center. It serves our community partnership on aging folks, as well as different events that I hold and other senior events within the community.
Any questions from my colleagues? Ms. Baker.
If I may, 20,000 isn't a big ask, so is this part of a larger project, or is this 20,000 going to take care of all the needs? How is this 20,000 going to be spent as a project total?
So it definitely will not take care of all of our needs. We'll definitely help chip away at some of the needs that have already been taken care of. We did already start the patio. It's actually been completed. So it's going to take care of a good chunk of the needs, at least for this particular year, as we continue to move forward.
I may follow, so these dollars will get you to the end of the patio project, is that? what you're saying? Or?
These dollars will get us to the end of the patio project, as well as get the entire community center painted and make some other minor repairs to some of our appliances that are now failing.
Right, that's all in this 20,000.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? If not, I'll accept a motion.
I move this matter be moved to our next full council meeting with a second reading.
Second.
Thank you. Any other conversation or questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Mayor, we're going to move on to the next
Thank
item
you.
on the agenda.
Appreciate it.
Resolution 2022-0164, awarding a total sum not to exceed $250,000 to the City of Highland Heights for the purpose of purchasing a replacement emergency generator from the District 11 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Okay, thank you. I'm actually going to call up our fire chief, William Turner, to discuss this piece.
Morning. My name is William Turner, Fire Chief for the City of Highland Heights. Thank you for giving us the opportunity today to request funds. So as the mayor alluded, this is a request for replacement of an existing generator. The existing generator is close to 20 years old. It's a 100,000 K generator, which as of right now only provides limited power to the building. This generator supports the police and fire communication center, the fire station, and police station. So it's one building that houses those three departments. So as it stands right now, the generator only will do certain features. It does not provide battery backup to our or power backup to our radio system. Those are on battery backup, which have a limited life. And it does not support any of the HVAC, which is a critical issue, especially with the dispatch center. So if we have long periods of time without power, which we've had more and more frequently, the dispatch center gets to the point where it gets very hard for anyone to work in a conditioned environment. So this award would provide that full power and take care of that need.
Okay. Questions from my colleagues? I have a motion on the floor from
Motion
someone.
to move this resolution to the next full council meeting with recommendation of passage for second reading.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or concerns? If not, all in favor of this motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, this one also passes.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Mayor,
Thank you.
What's
next on your list?
Resolution 2022-0165, awarding a total sum not to exceed $50,000 to the City of Highland Heights for the purpose of upgrading the city municipal complex technology equipment from the District 11 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Thank you. I'm also going to let the chief touch on that one as well.
All right. So one thing we learned during COVID was we were really lacking in our IT and our ability to communicate effectively with our community. So we have a municipal complex that's the police, fire, dispatch center, along with the separate city hall, separate service, and separate community center, all one complex. And they're interconnected with basically telephone cables from 1982. They're all underground, and they're all failing. So over the years, we've tried to run new lines, new data, and it has failed. This request would provide us with fiber interconnectivity through all the buildings and would allow us to have one mesh system for Wi-Fi. So when a resident or visitor comes to the campus, whether they're in the police and fire center, city hall, it's all one Wi-Fi system. We do not have that right now. So basically, this is going to interconnect the entire complex. So it provides some of the equipment along with the fiber to interconnect all the buildings. It would be a great benefit to anyone coming to it, to the community.
Chief, if I can just add to that. In addition to that, we recently redid our council chambers, and Councilwoman Simon has seen them. We've struggled to connect to our laptops to our meetings, which provides a problem for us and for the public that's in attendance as well. So,
Any questions?
I have one.
Ms. Baker?
So we have had our own struggles when we try to improve our internal internet systems, trying to bring it all together. So 50,000 again doesn't sound like a big ask for something as big of a project as this could be. Are there dollars outside of this that you're also investing, or is this 50,000 you think going to take care of the needs that you just described?
It's our hope that $50,000 is going to give us the equipment and provide the fiber. There might be additional expenses we incur. We have brought fiber to the police, which is kind of the hub, but now getting that to the other buildings is where this money would be beneficial. Provide the funds to actually tie each building in. But we're confident that $50,000 will be sufficient to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, no other comments? I'll entertain a motion.
Sure. I'm going to move that this resolution be moved to the next full council meeting with second reading recommendation of passage.
Second.
Thank you. If there are no further comments or questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, this one was approved to move to council as well.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk.
Resolution 2022-0166, awarding a total sum not to exceed $100,000 to the City of Highland Heights for the purpose of adding trails and connectivity points throughout the Highland Heights Community Park from the District 11 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Okay, so as we all know, connectivity has grown over the last couple of years throughout the communities, throughout the county. Last year, we conducted a town hall meeting and a survey to our residents, asking for feedback of a proposed trail through our community park, which is roughly 50 acres of newly preserved areas within the park. It came back very positive. Our residents are more than in favor of not just walking in a circle throughout our park. So we have partnered up with West Creek Conservancy as well as the Cuyahoga Soil and Water District in obtaining a recreational trails program grant. We don't know if we have been awarded or will be awarded that, but we'd like to continue to move forward with this project in any event. Our park is open year-round to all of our residents in our neighborhood communities. In addition, this will connect points within the park that are essential to people spending more time there than they ever have in the past. Our park is a great piece of land, and we just like to continue to keep it that way and make any enhancement as we continue to move forward.
Thank you. Any questions? Ms. Simon?
Councilwoman Baker has a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just curious on what the grant ask was for. How much are you hoping to receive?
The number continues to change. The original grant, I believe, was the ask was $250,000.
Do you think that the 100,000 standalone will get you to a place where you can show the improvements?
I believe so. Based on my last conversation that I had last week with West Creek, we're very hopeful that we'll be able to accommodate our needs for the project. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Gallagher?
Mayor, thanks for being here.
Sure.
I think as this committee and other committees are dealing with the ARPA funds, but this committee has seen many cities come in front of us. Those of us that have served on city councils or school boards, or some of us that have been vice mayors or mayors, understand how difficult it is to run a city. And there are some naysayers out there that would suggest in a certain way that you don't deserve these dollars. I disagree wholeheartedly. What changes the lives of your residents in Highland Heights or Strongsville, North Royalton or Berea or even Cleveland is special to that community. There's nobody who knows your community more than you.
Sure.
And to come before us with projects that, as I can see, touches the lives or has the ability to touch the lives of each individual person that lives within your city, while some of them not sexy, are necessary.
Sure.
And for us to be able to provide those funds to you, I think is ultimately what we were here to do. And have the ability to do this. We'll never be able to do this again, ever.
Sure.
At least in my lifetime, which is clearly shorter than yours. I hope, God forbid. But that's what we were here to do. You have a great representative who brings this forward, and I can't be prouder than all these cities that have come before us, told us what the plan was. This isn't a money grab. This is a necessary ask from our communities. So, Madam Chair, if I could be added as a sponsor to all the rest of these that are left on the agenda today. Thank you, Mayor.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Do I hear a motion?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion, but I just want to say that Highland Heights has been a steward of their parks and natural space and have been recipients of Ohio conservation grants that have come through my committee, the Environment Committee, and they have an endangered dusty goldenrod preserve, which is unique and special to the county and to Highland Heights. So I appreciate all your conservation work, and I will make a motion that this resolution be moved forward to the next full council meeting with a recommendation of passage for second reading. And thank you for your support, colleague Gallagher.
And Madam Chair, if you would add my name to the resolution as well. Thank you for all your hard work, Mayor.
Appreciate it.
Second the motion.
Thank you. If there are no further comments, at this time I'll ask all in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mayor, congratulations.
Appreciate it. Thank you all very much. I really appreciate your willingness to continue to help the municipalities the way you guys have done. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Moving right along, Madam Clerk.
Resolution 2022-0167, awarding a total sum not to exceed $700,000 to the City of Lyndhurst for the purpose of purchasing a fire attack engine from the District 11 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Chief?
Morning, all. Mayor Ward couldn't make it, so he asked me to speak on his behalf. He prepared a statement. So, good morning, Madam Chair, Councilwoman Simon, and the members of the Community Development Committee. I am Michael Carroll, Chief of Fire for the City of Lyndhurst. On behalf of Mayor Patrick Ward, who is unavailable today, I wish to express our appreciation for the funding opportunity County Council has made available to the individual communities of Cuyahoga County. Mayor Ward asked me to express that his process for choosing from numerous important projects followed Council's guidance to focus upon which is impactful, transformative, would leverage the use of one-time dollars, and would serve the community for a very long time. Looking at what would serve the most need, and even the most in need, was another factor Mayor Ward was pleased Council considered. We are thrilled that the replacement of one of our most important fire apparatus has been selected for consideration by Council today. Budget preparation is priorities and choices and juggling, which we know you understand well. I am certain you can appreciate how many other community needs would be deferred in order to accommodate this critical equipment's replacement, which expands exponentially this funding's impact across all city functions. I'm prepared to answer any of the community's questions at this time.
Thank you, Chief. As a former mayor, I know how important these engines are to our communities and to the neighboring communities with mutual aid agreements. So thank you for bringing this forward on behalf of your community and the communities you have aid agreements with.
Great, thank you.
Do any of my colleagues have questions or comments?
One, if you don't mind.
Ms. Baker.
Thank you, and thank you for your request. Of course, it's important. The $700,000, will that cover the entire amount of this fire attack engine?
Unfortunately not, but it will cover about 3/4, probably 80% of it. Fire apparatus, when we bought our original engine, it was about $495,000. The replacement engine's closer to $850,000, $850,000.
And if you add any bells and whistles, it's over $1 million.
Yeah, so it's obviously costs have gone up over the years. This apparatus is 20 years old, or is going to be 20 years old. Our ladder truck's actually 25 years old. Mm-hmm. So we're in a position that we, have to replace both apparatus in a very short period of time, so.
And you have the additional funds to meet if the
Yes.
$700,000 is?
My understanding, yes.
And if I may, just for understanding, what is a fire attack engine? Is that different than?
It's not a ladder truck. Basically, it's a one response truck. So we use it for structure fires, auto accidents. It assists our EMS units if they need additional manpower, from CO alarms to down power lines. We only have one engine in the city, so it's our primary response truck. So it does pretty much everything other than our ladder truck.
All right, and will you be turning in your other truck that's 20 years old?
We'll probably do some kind of trade, but really after 20 years, the trade-in value of a fire apparatus goes down drastically, so,
So you may just keep it, or?
well, we might partner with Highland Heights and keep, just kidding. No, we'll look at options. I mean, honestly, truck's in need of some serious repairs, so we have to balance all that with other budget priorities, as you all fully understand. So with our ladder truck also in need of being replaced in very short order, you know, comes at a very critical time for the city.
Good. Well, I'm glad you're here, glad of the ask, and I'm glad we're able to support you.
Well, thank you very much. We do appreciate it.
Okay. I make a motion that this resolution be moved to our next full council meeting with the recommendation of passage under second reading.
Is there a second?
Second.
Not under second reading, for second reading.
Thank you. Any other comments? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
Chief.
Bye, Mayors, Joe. And Mayor Ward did send a letter, which I will circulate, appreciating the county council's process in recognizing the needs of the communities. Thank you.
Madam Clerk.
Resolution 2022-0168, awarding a total sum not to exceed $40,000 to the City of Richmond Heights for the purpose of creating a citywide Parks and Recreation strategic plan from the District 11 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Mayor, welcome to the podium. If you would please, for the record, identify yourself and your municipality.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of council. My name is Kim Thomas. I'm the Mayor of Richmond Heights, and I have with me my ED Director. And we're going to go over, first of all, I just want to say thank you for allowing us to present before you today. We're asking for approval for the following resolutions, and the very first one is for $40,000. And that is to upgrade our parks and our community space. Basically, if we could, the $40,000 would allow us to hire a strategic planner to help with the upgrading. And Brian, if you want to add more, and if so, and if not, I'll go through the rest of the resolutions.
Good morning. My name is Brian Gleiser. As the mayor mentioned, I'm Director of Economic Development for the City of Richmond Heights. This project for the $40,000 to hire a consultant to do a citywide strategic plan, Parks and Recreation strategic plan. We have 3 community parks, the Richmond Heights Community Park, DeSand Park, and the Greenwood Farm Community Park. And so we'd be looking at those in addition connectivity trails to connect the parks. And then of particular interest personally would be to work with the county at the western end of the county airport runway. There's approximately 70 acres of land that cannot be developed, obviously, because it's the end of the runway, but it could be used for passive recreation. Trails, walkways, because at the eastern end of the runway is a golf course. So this is an opportunity to work with the county as well through our strategic planning process.
Have you reached out to Mr. Dever and his team?
No, not yet. No, yeah, we're waiting to see if we have funding first.
I just got a hint. Okay. Are there any questions or comments from my colleagues? Ms. Baker.
Thank you. Your strategic plan, do you have one in place now that you are updating, or is this something that is new to your city?
This would be something new. In 2017, with the county's assistance, we did a citywide master plan, but we've never done a specific Parks and Recreation strategic plan, so this would be new.
Was that original 2017, did it include the parks?
In general terms, it talked about Parks and Recreation as being very important to the community, but did not get into the specific designs or recommendations for individual parks.
So this is specifically just for your Parks and Recreation?
Correct.
Thank you.
Ms. Simon?
I'll make a motion that this resolution be moved to the next full council meeting under second reading with a recommendation of passage.
Is there a second?
Second.
If there are no further questions or comments, all in favor? Any opposed? Congratulations, Mayor. The first one passed. On to council. Madam Clerk.
Resolution 2022-0169, awarding a total sum not to exceed $150,000 to the City of Richmond Heights for the purpose of replacing the pedestrian bridge north of the Richmond Heights Fire Station from the District 11 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
This project, this is an old wooden bridge. It was built in the early 60s. If you know Richmond Heights, right near the intersection of Richmond Road and Highland Road is our municipal center. The fire station is furthest to the west, so just north of that intersection, crossing Clarabelle Creek, is a wooden pedestrian bridge, which has now been deemed by our service department and engineer as structurally unsound. This is a major walking path to the new school campus that was recently completed. And so for obvious safety reasons, this bridge urgently needs to be replaced.
And if I could add, it was built by, I think, 10 or 15 utility poles. So that is what's holding the bridge up right now.
Okay. Then, are there any questions from my colleagues? Ms. Baker?
And this is probably because it's a pedestrian bridge, but the county has the responsibility of making sure that our bridges are safe but is that a difference because it's pedestrian? Do we know that?
It depends on what the original bill, whether it was structured with our financing or not, and whether the structure, the size and style of the structure required our support. So I don't know.
Madam Chair, and thank you for your question, and I think the mayor can elaborate, but what happened here, there was a project that somehow this bridge was not connected with at the time of funding, and because of that, it was left, Public Works could not supplement this cost, so it's really essential now that this be done because it's a safety issue.
Okay, so Public Works is aware.
Yes.
And good.
Somehow it just wasn't connected to an earlier project.
All right, thank you.
And thank you. And currently, right now, we have caution tape preventing residents and students from walking on the pedestrian bridge.
Any other questions? A motion, please.
Motion to move this resolution forward for second reading with the recommendation of passage.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Madam Clerk, this one is also referred to council.
Madam Chair, if you could add my name to this and the previous resolution.
Okay. Madam Clerk, if you would read the next resolution into the record, please.
Resolution 2022-0170, awarding a total sum not to exceed $100,000 to the City of Richmond Heights for the purpose of replacing the porch at the Greenwood Farm Community Park Farmhouse from the District 11 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Madam Mayor.
Madam Chair, this resolution would, hopefully, if the funds are approved, it will replace our bridge at the Greenwood Farm, which is a community park. The park was founded in 1906, and currently right now we have the park, which we designated as a community park probably 3 weeks ago. However, in order to visit the home that's located on the park, you would have to walk up the stairs onto the porch. And right now, we cannot give the residents the tour of the home because the porch is not stable. So we're asking for $100,000 to approve to repair the porch. And I'll be honest, that price was given to us probably 2 years ago. So we're hoping and praying that the price is probably still $100,000, but I'm for sure it's probably has gone up.
My experience with construction right now is be prepared for 15 to 20% increase.
Madam Chair, I would like the mayor or Brian, the director, to talk about this just briefly. This is not any house. This is an old historical house where there's been several movies filmed with haunted houses. It's a really interesting piece of property.
As Mayor mentioned, the farm dates back from before the 20th century. The farmhouse was built in the early 20th century, in 1910, thereabouts. It was the home of the family that lived on the farm for many, many years. The city acquired it several years ago, and so it is a a good-sized farmhouse, brick and masonry farmhouse facing Richmond Road. It is now used for community events. So there are meetings there, there are events there, as was mentioned. There are several films have occurred there. They've used it as a haunted house, but these are major films that have been produced. The grounds are used for our Fall Fun Fest. We've also just received funding from the state capital budget to build a gazebo on the grounds, so we want to enhance the use of this property as well for weddings, other events. And the property actually borders onto Euclid Creek, so it's a beautiful piece of property. As the mayor mentioned, right now this house that we use for community events is not ADA accessible. And so a major piece of this project would be to reinforce the porch, replace the porch, the cement slab under it, and also add ADA accessibility to the house.
And 3 weeks ago, we just shot a national film called Shelby Oaks at the lodge, at the Greenwood Farm.
Any other questions or comments?
We can have a film fest, I think, a Richmond Heights Film Fest.
We
How about
can.
that? Okay. Yeah.
And just one question. Sounds like a wonderful project, and glad that we can play a part. Are you prepared to contribute more than $100,000 if needed, if it's $120,000, $130,000 to complete the project?
We are prepared.
You have those funds put aside?
Yes, we do.
Thank you.
All right.
So I'll make a motion that this resolution be moved forward to the next full council meeting with a recommendation of passage for second reading.
A second?
Second.
Without any further comments, all in favor, aye.
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 Any opposed? Madam Mayor, congratulations. Everything moves forward to the full council.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, members of council.
Madam Clerk, would you please read the next item on the next resolution on our agenda?
Resolution 2022-0171, awarding a total sum not to exceed $300,000 to the City of South Euclid for the purpose of constructing the Victory Park Adult and Senior Recreation Area from the District 11 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Okay. Mr. Benjamin, are you representing the City of South Euclid today?
Council, thank you for having me. Our County Councilwoman Sonny Simon, thank you. May I pass out? I've got some graphs.
If you hand them to the clerk.
Mayor Wheelo sends her regrets that she could not be here today, but we are here to advocate for funding for the Victory Park Outdoor Senior Recreation Area. In 2016, we began this process by convening an ad hoc City Council Recreation Committee with residents and key community stakeholders to look at our parks and amenities and come up with a strategic plan for our future. We focused on youth recreation, adult recreation, garden clubs, representatives from our school districts, the YMCA, and most importantly for this project, our Community Partnership on Aging and Commission on Aging. And out of those outcomes came the need that there is a need for active and passive recreation for older adults and senior citizens. The focus groups revealed that the city has no dedicated outdoor area for older adults and senior citizens, and that there is a high demand for an area where seniors and older adults can come together to participate in both active and passive recreation. As a result, the Citizens Recreation Advisory Committee recommended to City Council and the administration the establishment of a new recreation area dedicated to providing quality of life amenities for seniors and older adults. So the proposed Victory Park Adult and Senior Recreation Area will complement our other parks by meeting unmet needs of a key constituent demographic and provide amenities not available at any of our existing parks and on a scale not available in any of our neighboring communities. So this would be a first for at least our inner ring suburbs in Northeast Ohio. The new park will include amenities, which is on the handout that I gave you. Amenities not available in any other community park, including bocce courts, bocce ball courts, horseshoe pits, pickleball courts, an outdoor exercise area with outdoor aerobic and balance equipment, and a community garden with a 4-foot raised bed so older adults don't have to sit on the ground to do their gardening. The new park will also include a shelter area with picnic tables and casual seating for socializing, reading, relaxing, chess checkers, and an open green space area for yoga, tai chi, outdoor concerts, poetry readings, and casual socializing. One of the big caveats and one of the great aspects of this project is the collaboration with the Community Partnership on Aging. The Community Partnership on Aging serves, I think now, 6 cities in our region. It is headquartered at the South Euclid Community Center, which would be adjacent to this new park. Those member cities with the Community Partnership on Aging are Richmond Heights, Lyndhurst, Mayfield Heights, Mayfield Village, and Highland Heights. And so during the daytime, once this park is built, there could be activities programmed through the Community Partnership on Aging, outdoor exercise classes, balance classes, tai chi classes, poetry, even pickleball tournaments or bocce ball tournaments, or utilizing the proposed community garden. So we have requested for this project. This is a $1.3 million project. We have secured $1 million already to move this project forward. Costs have gone up. When we initially got cost estimates from our architectural and parks engineering firm last year, the cost was going to be about $1 million total for all amenities. With supply chain issues and labor issues and inflation, that project is now $1.3 million. So we've got the $1 million. We're here before you today to request your assistance in helping to fill that gap to help us reach the $1.3 million with a $300,000 grant. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions?
A comment before I make a motion. Thank you, Mr. Benjamin. You know, this park used to just have a pool. It was called the Victory Pool, and we can see how cities are evolving and the needs of the residents now are being met more creatively with flexibility, and to recognize our senior community is really unique and amazing, and I'm sure won't be the first with other cities. So I just want to say thank you for providing this amenity, which I guess at some point I might be using. Hopefully not for a while.
Madam Chair, I can't remember if I gave my name for the record.
Keith Benjamin, yeah, go do it.
Did I?
Oh, no.
Keith Benjamin, Director of Community Development, City of South Euclid.
Okay, I'm going to move this matter, this resolution, to the next full council meeting with the recommendation of passage for second reading.
Second.
If there are no further questions or comments, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Benjamin, congratulations. This passes on to the full body of council.
Thank you. Thank you, members of council.
Is there anything else for the good of the order, Madam Clerk? To my colleagues, is there any miscellaneous business that we need to be updated on? Without any additional updates or miscellaneous business, we are adjourned.
Thank you.